went through so far, and how has it been? We actually have a question, but we just want you to feel our pulses for now.
Well, thank you very much. I think gentlemen of the Fourth Estate,
yes, sir.
Welcome all of you this evening. Basically, over the past years that I've worked in Akwa Ibom State, you have played a critical role in support of the government, in support of my ministries. And I believe that as partners in the development of the state, that it was important for me to sit down with you. Thank you for the cooperation, for the support that you gave to me as a commissioner, and also gave to the government of Akwa Ibom State under His Excellency Governor Emmanuel. I want to say that indeed you played a critical role in what has happened in the state, because government activities needs to be made known to the citizens of the state, and it's through you people that the many things His Excellency Governor Emmanuel has done in the state in the last 4 years was made known to Akwa Ibom people, which ensured the victory of His Excellency, because his performance in the last 4 years is what was responsible for his victory in the election. The Akwa Ibom people said he should continue with the good work that he's doing. How did they know it? It destroyed your work. So I want to thank all of you for your support and everything that you did in support of the government. And I believe that when you work with people, these two words, thank you, means a lot. And that is why I called the people here this evening to
Covering from hashtag Akan Okon Speaks. That is the area we are operating from. So please do join us by observing that very well. Thank you. Just before we, allow others to also, bring on their questions, let's get down to some of the projects that you embarked upon.
I like to start by saying that what makes the difference in the societies that you have seen development and those ones that there's no development is the leadership. It is not the human capital, not the material. Yes, just like you have said, people believe that we could not have that kind of building in the state. But I'm happy to tell you that as we speak today, the 21-story building, the intelligent building, the concrete work has been completed, and we're expecting the facade and other components to get that project completed on schedule. And I believe it is part of the infrastructural development in our state that will bring in investors, that will bring in a lot of people to the state, so that the economic life of our people could be positively influenced.
All right, let's talk about 4 Points Sheraton Hotel. It's also within the purview of administration or an undertaking, as it were. And the immediate past administration took it to a certain level. That too was what was under your administration and as a special duties commissioner. Would you let us into that? Are we expecting something either completed or near completion?
Before I start, I want to state clearly that His Excellency the Governor has provided enormous resources to ensure that 4 Point by Sheraton is operational. But you know that sometime in the life of this administration, when there was a change in the ownership of the Starwood Group, the Starwood Group was acquired by the Marriott Group. And when there are issues of mergers and acquisition, there are a lot of things that is done to ensure integration. A lot of bookkeeping. There is nothing, even when Ibom Victor started the airport, people say we didn't need an airport. So when it concerns Akwa Ibom State, if you have a good leader in the mold of the governor who knows what is good for the state, keep on doing what is good. There are criticism, but I'm quite sure the people that are criticizing is not up to 5%. If 95% of the people say what they are doing is right, you go on and do it. So I'm here to tell you that the government of His Excellency Governor Demi Emmanuel is very passionate about developing the state and is very focused. And that is why you have seen the level of achievement he has achieved in the last couple of years. So I think this government is worthy of your support. You did it before, and I'm quite sure in His Excellency's second term that you continue to support him.
All right, Honorable Commissioner, the past Commissioner, you talked about Ibom area, and then this is what is in the lips of every Akwa Ibom person now. We know that the administration of His Excellency Governor Dumi Emmanuel is very, very interested in the three routes, that is the land, the air, and the sea. One is already completed and down, and ongoing, that's the land with 1,700 kilometers road completed. And then the air is what has been, a lot of people saw as something that is not possible, monumental, and all of that. They call all sort of names. And even when we had the plans, 3 plans first delivered, we still saw nothing to write home about that. And then all of a sudden, the Ibom Air is flying, not just flying, but commercially. How did you get there? How did you do this? How was the magic? What made you, this successful? Can you take us into that?
Well, it boils down to what I said before, the question of leadership. When you have the right leadership in place, you get a lot of things that people believe is possible going. And I'm happy for Akwa Ibom State to have a governor in the mold of His Excellency Governor Demi Emmanuel. He has brought to bear his experiences in the private sector in the administration of the state. A lot of people have said so much about this airline. I believe that just like I said sometime last week, I think it was Thursday last week, when I was called on radio, that people are talking about writing so many things in the social media about the airline that is a scam, it's not going to work. I knew we have passed all the processes and that we were just expecting the signature of the DG of NCA for us to obtain our air operator certificate. And what I said was that once the airlines start flying, I'm sure those people that have been writing all manners of things, they will swallow their words. And I'm sure today, I don't think any of those people will be able to say anything because the airline is working, and Akwa Ibom people, even Nigerian, and the traveling public is very happy with the performance so far. And this standard, I believe, the airline is going to maintain. Has come to stay for the good of Akwa Ibom and the traveling public. And mind you, I've observed that even those people who criticize the more, that among the first few people that are flying, and coming down with the testimonial that, oh, I have never entered this kind of flight locally before. It's a good thing, but I want to advise people that once people shouldn't, after election comes governance. Election has been completed. Governor Demi Emmanuel is the governor of Akwa Ibom State till 2023. I believe every peace-loving Akwa Ibom person should join hands to see how this state could be developed. Because, development is not a destination. It's a process. Every day there are new additions, there are new things to be done. The governor doesn't require any distraction. He should be left to focus on the development. And when he does things good, people should say it is good. Not every time, whatever is done, even when people outside the state are commending it, you have our people still writing what they don't even know. But I want to thank all of you people for the defense and the support that you always give when such issues arises.
I want to say a little bit on the airline because this is not a big deal, as it were. The same critic that about good in the airline, it will never take is the economic value of these airlines. Are they just for the elites? How will it affect the common man in Akwa Ibom? What's your take on this?
Well, what I want to say is that in the world, the airline industry is a major employer of labor and is a major catalyst to the development of any society. That the economic values of Ibom Air is enormous. One, number one is that in terms of employment, we want to give a lot of employment opportunities to people and will afford people the opportunity to put food on the table for their families. And two, in terms of ease of doing business, before Ibom Air started flying, if you are a businessman or a government official that lives here, the earliest time you could leave here is about 1:30, from sometimes 4 o'clock. And for one day, you spend 3 days outside the state, and you will spend money on hotel accommodation. This will affect the overhead of businessmen and also reduce their profitability. But given the schedule that this airline offers, people are able to go to Abuja in the morning, say by 8 o'clock, do their business in Abuja throughout the day, and by 6 p.m., they board the flight and come back. The same thing is applicable to Lagos route. I think the issue, that's individual differences. Just like not everybody will go to heaven. Hell will not be empty, and I can assure you, heaven will not be empty. It should be, we have so much money, but he's able to prioritize the little that we have. That
Any moment from now, the appointment, for other sets of commissioners. His Excellency the Governor, Mr. Dom Emmanuel, has tried his best, and there is this dogged tenacity, this yearning crave for true leadership for Akwa Ibom. How would you describe the man, Mr. Udom Gabriel Emmanuel, having spent 4 years with him already? And perhaps you came from the same private sector, the banking. You should know it better.
Yeah, Governor Dom Emmanuel, first of all, is God-fearing. He has the fear of God, and he is someone that pays attention to details. And he does not like having excuses. He expects results in things that are supposed to be carried out. He is very, very passionate about developing this state. He loves Akwa Ibom State. He loves Akwa Ibom people. And I think we are very lucky to have him as our governor. And what I've said, you can judge for yourself. In the last 4 years that he has been here, the level of peace that we have experienced in this state, it has never been like this way. And the kind of projects that he has embarked upon are projects that touches the lives of our people. Take, for example, he anchored his campaign on industrialization. Today, you are all witnesses to the fact that we have over 15 industries that are operating in this state, giving employment opportunities to our people, our young men and women, because the governor believes that young people should not beg for a living, that they should be provided opportunities to work and earn a living. And the availability of this industry in the state has also offered our children in the tertiary institution who before now will want to go to Lagos or Port Harcourt or Abuja for their industrial attachment because we do not have any such organization here. And now, with the industries in the state, they are given that opportunity. So, in summary,
are we expecting that in the next administration? And perhaps maybe as we made the next cabinet, what is the prospect of these reports?
It is not correct that there have not been any direction in respect of the deep sea port. I want to say that commendation should be given to His Excellency Governor Emmanuel for what he has done in ensuring that Ibom Deep Sea Port comes alive. Upon assumption of office, who are very experienced in the maritime sector. And I want to say that with the support of His Excellency, this committee has worked so hard that as we speak now, a preferred bidder has emerged for the construction of that deep sea port. And the committee, because it was made up of experienced hands, the committee was not just looking at someone who would just come and construct the port, but they were interested in constructing and having the cargo traffic to make the port viable. And I'm happy to tell you that the preferred bidder is one of the top maritime and cargo company in the world. And the name is Bolloré and Power China. You can Google it and you see what I'm talking about. As we speak, the full business case in respect of the deep sea port has been approved by ICRC, and it's just waiting the presidential approval. And when that is done, the port will commence construction. So I want to say that Governor Emmanuel means well for the state. He has put enormous resources in ensuring that this port comes alive. And I want to say clearly, because you know our people are always writing, if it was in the list for state government to on their own establish a deep sea port, I'm quite sure by now we would have gone far. But you know the way Nigeria is structured, that port development and management is in the exclusive list, as it is only NPA and the federal government that can give approval for that. But I'm happy that so far we have received enormous cooperation from them, and that's the right team that can ensure the realization of the project.
Okay. Just before I let my colleagues throw in their questions, maybe this will be the last from me. Let me take a look at your itinerary, your line of activities, and the involvement in these last 4 years of this administration as Governor Emmanuel. You anchored a very important area, like we talk about special duties, and you cut across so many areas, and then aviation development. Were you at any point perturbed that there were some things you couldn't do, or there were some things you needed to do, maybe the time wasn't enough, and there were some things you felt you should have achieved? And how were you able to manage these, even with your responsibilities at home as a husband?
Well, what I like to say is that I'm an investment banker by training. And in investment banking, you are expected to take up a lot of challenges and provide solutions to it. My training has really helped me. It has assisted me in the way I function, in the responsibilities that have been given to me. And above all, we don't have power to do anything by ourselves. Everything is by the grace of God. So the grace of God has been sufficient for me to carry on my responsibilities and also take care of the home front.
All right. Immediate past Honorable Commissioner for Special Duties and Aviation Development, Akwa Ibom State. I'll be speaking with Honorable Akan Okon. And it's a special dinner, thank you dinner to media professionals in the state. So we allow the media professionals here, my distinguished colleagues that are here, to please have your way, take the bull by the horn, and then let's throw in your questions to the Honorable Commissioner. I'm sure he would like to answer. Stand now for you. Perhaps.
That God clearly showed up and answered the prayers that the good people of Akwa Ibom State have been praying. And given the fact that you have a child of God on the throne, the level of peace that prevailed in our state on that day, I'm sure you are all witnesses that it beat every human understanding. So for me, the show of the power of God in our state on that day was something that I was very happy about. And yeah, talking about low point, I don't think there's anything that you will do in Akwa Ibom State that, as long as you are human, that people are not going to talk and talk and talk for you to feel bad about it. But the most important thing is that when they talk, you have to remain focused and keep on doing what you know is right.
All right. Any other question? Yes, there's a hand there.
Good evening, sir. Okay, short man in the mic. Good evening, sir. I'll go straight to it. One thing many business people would feel is important for any business venture is to have a sort of study to project whether the business will actually work or not. So, talking about Ibom Air and Ibom Deep Seaport, the projections you've given about the number of planes we're to expect in the next couple of years, is Akwa Ibom ready for that kind of growth, or would we be stifled by the imminent success that we believe in? Thank you.
Can I take another question so that I can answer them? Let me take one more question.
Okay.
Simon is my name. So my question is on threefold as regards your ministry. First, commendation on the strategy for the seaport. However, sir, the people of Akwa Ibom really want to know the state of MRO in the airport, which will invariably service the Ibom airline. So we don't know the state of that MRO. What is it? Then on the new governor's lodge in Lagos, before now you had mentioned to us that it's completed. Yeah, months ago, even before the electioneering, and now you've reiterated that. But if you take a keen look at the governor's manifesto, we will see that there he has mentioned that that project will be completed in his second term. So I don't know how you can suppose that. Is the governor not aware that this project has been completed? Then the governor, during his inauguration, even in his manifesto too, he has clearly stated that the Ibom Seaport and Industrial City will be the signature project in his second term. And now you've mentioned the strides recorded so far, and you've mentioned that if it was possible, if it was not in the exclusive list, the state would have done that. So how would the state government really ensure that it sees to the fulfillment of its plan when it is actually anchored on the federal government? And still on that project, Ibom Deep Seaport, if we look at the action plans and timelines of that project in the manifesto of the governor, we are going to see that community engagement, it is recorded there that it has been partially completed. But when I took a step, I visited the community, they mentioned that that has not been done. Even here in land compensation, in the manifesto is recorded that it is to be determined. So considering the timelines that is recorded in this manifesto, the state government has not even taken a step and to fulfill what it has put in the timeline. How are we then certain that it's going to fulfill this within the space of time that it has? Then, still on that, how is it the responsibility of the state government to fully develop in terms of infrastructure, build this when we know that this is actually a federal government project? So is the government going to use the money from the state coffers to develop it themselves? So what the people of Akwa want to know is that.
Okay, let me take that. First of all, I will take the issue of community engagement. You live in Akwa Ibom State. I'm happy to tell you, community engagement does not necessarily mean that the company must go there to the community. On the 26th of February 2017, the community engagement issues took place at the government office annex on Barracks Road, where all members of the community, the youth, that's what is supposed to be engagement. So it's not right that nothing has started. And you are talking about why government should go and do things that is for federal government. You know, I always ask question why, who is federal government? Take for example, the airport that you are talking about. It is good for our people. But I'm sure you know that it is also the responsibility of the federal government. But the way our country is structured, even electricity, building of power station, is not the responsibility of the government. I mean, the state government. It's the federal government. But if you have a governor who is very passionate about the welfare of his people, and yet the federal government has not done what they are supposed to do, any good governor, like His Excellency Governor Manuel, will move in. For example, today, many parts of this state, they are enjoying quite a number of hours in terms of electricity because of the power station that he has built. Our airport, as we are talking, has been run on generator for over a period of time until His Excellency decided to build the power substation. There's a power substation that is being built in Akan. These are the responsibilities of the federal government. But a good governor, a governor who has the interests of his people, will not allow their people, the people to suffer. So he has to intervene, and that's what has happened. And you are talking about the issue of Lagos. No, I'm coming. Lagos Lodge. When they say completed, you know, like it's always said, you don't finish a building in one day. If you finish the structure, you need to furnish it. Am I right? Yes. So if I've told you the structure is ready, it's ready. Furniture needs to move in there. We should be moving there for people to make it habitable. Am I right? Yes. So I don't think it's out of place for when I say it is ready, it is ready. And then on the issue of MRO, we are 65% completed. That MRO is 65% completed. And government is putting everything in place to ensure that it is completed, because the airline itself, some of the routine services checks will be done there. It's a requirement. And I'm happy that we have made significant improvement in terms of our relationship with the people who are coming to partner with us to get that place completed. And I think I've answered all your questions.
Yeah.
And the which one?
You touched these questions. For the remaining.
Yes, the one on the viability and the sustainability. Am I right?
And how ready is Akwa Ibom?
How ready is Akwa Ibom?
Yes. For both routes.
Yes. I want us to think outside the box. Today, we are operating Uyo to Lagos and Uyo to Abuja. And very soon, we'll operate from Abuja to Lagos and Lagos to Abuja. There are a lot of routes in this country that is viable. And there are a lot of routes in the West African region, even in Africa, that are still untapped. I want to assure you that the business model that has been put in place for Ibom is very, very sustainable. And that the entire 10 aircraft in the fleet will not only be servicing Akwa Ibom. So that answers the question whether the Akwa Ibom is ready for such. It is for expansion of the route of the airline. So I believe that it is the right step in the right direction. Every major airline that you see in the world today, they started small, like Ibom. And with what has been put in place, I have no doubt that in the next couple of years that we would have made significant inroad into the West African sub-region, and you all be happy for it. It's not up to 1 week. I think tomorrow we'll make it 1 week since it started operation. The testimonial that we're getting is quite good, and the intention is to sustain that momentum.
Okay. All right, we take 2 more. Yes, go for it. Don't you have ladies around? The ladies? Okay.
Good evening, sir. Kofekan is my name. I want to ask a question to the Lagos Lodge. That project is one that has expressed so much criticisms about the construction and the liability of that project to Akwa the state. I want to ask, what exactly is Lagos Lodge? Is a lodge in Lagos exactly what Akwa state needs, and how exactly do we stand to benefit as a state from having a lodge in Lagos?
What I'd like to say that we have over-labored ourselves on this Lagos Lodge issue. At several fora, I have explained the advantages and why we needed it. And a lot of people appreciate it. So I don't know why every time you keep on asking issues on something that, is an investment. The property market in Lagos is very, very profitable. And we've explained the advantages. And I know if I say that if investors come in and you can receive them in their lodge, you will ask, what about coming to you? But I want to tell you that certain in the world today, because of the way the country is structured, what is happening in Nigeria, there have been instances that investors come into the country when once they just hear Niger Delta, they don't have any difference whether it is in rivers or anywhere. They believe Niger Delta is Niger Delta. So it's important to have a place that you handle all these issues before finally giving them the assurances before they move to a state that is very, very safe. But if you leave them to what they hear, once they hear Niger Delta, they believe everywhere is the same. I believe that the issue of Lagos Lodge, I think is an issue that we've over-labored ourselves. It is every other state, they have a lodge in Lagos. There's no state in this country, even Kano, they have a lodge in Lagos. So why is our own a problem? So I think we should look at other issues, see how you can bring investors from America or Europe to come and have their preliminary meeting in that place before coming here to establish. That's my suggestion, because every time you sit on radio, on TV, we are talking about Lagos Lodge, something that has been completed. I believe you just let us focus on getting the 21-story building completed and then move to another project. I think that would be good for all of us. Instead of something that happened about 3 years ago, we are still looking back at 3 years ago, instead of facing the future.
All right. Any other further questions? Ladies and gentlemen. Yes, please.
Commissioner, John Beckham, beyond the projects you listed, like the airport and the airline, to the one I was saying, in the second term of the governor's administration, do we expect more projects? Do we expect new things coming up? Aside the ones you already mentioned, or the ones who are which are already in place? Do we expect more? Can you let us into some other plans you have?
Volume of passengers that are coming to our state, and the fact that we have an airline whose base is in Akwa. So a lot of other new projects will come.
All right, gentlemen of the press, any further questions? All right, none. Take a look at considering your variability and capability in the last administration, and of course the cerebral nature of the gentleman, Mr. Akan Okon. Are we expecting a return back in the next 4 years of his administration as one of the honorable commissioners?
Yeah, what I like
But when we consider what you've done so fast on the Road Commission anyway, I don't know why I keep on saying this, maybe I'm prophesying. I just to take this to the end, would you like to tell us your advice or message to the people of Akwa Ibom State, just before we go?
Thank you very much for the opportunity. You know, at every opportunity that I have to speak to our people, I've always said that we do not have any other state other than Akwa Ibom State, and that no one from any other state will come and develop this state for us. It has to take the collective responsibility of each and every mind, which I'm very proud of, and which I believe all of you are proud of coming from this state, that we will all join hands with His Excellency to develop this state. The governor is a very listening governor. He listens to advice. I believe that each and every one of us, we know what is good for our state, and when we are advising, it should be constructive. And you have a governor who is willing and prepared to take contribution from people with a view to helping in the development of our state. And now we should take this opportunity by ensuring that whatever ideas that we have a very civilized way of putting it across, rather than doing it the usual way that the people, a very minute percentage, choose to do. So that's my word for Akwa Ibom people. Love yourself. The drawdown syndrome, pull me down syndrome should be reduced to the barest minimum, that our governor needs support for all of us, from all of us, and that we should support him so that by the end of his tenure, we should have been we should have been very happy with what he has done, and we'll say that indeed we had a governor that came to serve the people well.
All right, just before I let you go, I'm told one of the people here, they have one more question for you. Well, just before I allow them to ask that, talking about the 4 Point by Sheraton Hotel, there seems to be no access road to that particular hotel. Is there anything happening there in terms of the access road to the 4 Point Sheraton Hotel?
I don't think, when did you go there last?
Last year.
Okay, so it's a long time. There's an access road to the hotel. It's been constructed.
Okay.
An access road that links it from Ikoregbene Road to Abak Road. There's an access road.
It's newly constructed by this administration.
Cost service, Governor Emmanuel.
Okay. All right. Antole Ma has questions.
Yes, Madam Commissioner. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Yeah.
So I want to ask, because it seems that most of the projects in Europe, why always coming up with a result in a very short possible time? And two, if the second term of His Excellency administration and here again to join out of your present ministry to another one, will you still oblige Akwa Ibom people the kind of services you are doing now? Thank you.
Thank you, Ima. Like I said, we are the product of the training we have received in the course of our life. I told you I'm an investment banker, and I'm prepared to function anyway. So I don't have any fear that I will not be able to function in any way I find myself. And regarding the hurry and the successes that we have achieved in our ministry, I think I want to thank the governor, first of all, and then for the support that he has given, and then the staff of the ministry, the permanent secretary, everyone in that ministry, they are very hardworking, and they are committed to the development of this state. And I think that is what has been responsible. And above all, it is the grace of God that has made all these things possible.
Okay, I'm told
if that project is still part of Governor Emmanuel project or has gone with the wind?
Well, what I'd like to state here is that we were supposed to have an APC, that is Armored Personnel Carrier Plant, And you know there are a lot of approvals involving the Minister of Defense, but at the end, to Nigeria. And defense business in this case is to provide the enabling environment. And
Good evening, sir. My name is Akan Okon. This is talking about the area of Ibom, the government, Sir, being that they are from there, is there anything essentially with your sister said of the Cross River to bring to an end the same thing of that of the people of Ibom?
Thank you. I think you recall that sometime last year there was an issue in Okuboko. His Excellency the Governor Donald, personally paid a visit to the scene of the problem. Well, state that everything staff must. I don't think that should be an issue we should discuss here.